Oi, you know what time it is? You're tuned in listening to Dry That Aussie Metal Guy. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of his content when it drops. And remember, stay brutal, you mad dogs. Roof.
There we go. G'day, how you all going? It's Jai, that Aussie metal guy from crank.com. So tonight, wherever you are in the world, it's a great pleasure that we're getting to have a chat with Killer Chris and Shane Waffles of Storm the Crown. They are a South Australian metalcore band. I have been sharing the shit out of them, so I don't know where you have been if you haven't caught them. I did chat with Chris, I think it was last year or the year before. They are due to drop their highly anticipated second EP, and we're going to get to chat with them about the singles that have come off at Run, Bones, Ritual, Max Power, and everything else they've got going on, including launch show and whatever the fuck else they've got going on. Cheers for joining me, guys.
Holy shit, what an intro. How the fuck do I follow that? Thank you so much, mate.
You're very, very welcome. How have you both been?
Excellent. Yourself?
I'm doing very, very bloody well. I'm excited about all of this, man. I've been eagerly following all the singles that have been coming off it. How are things been coming together for you guys, getting this EP together? And tell me a little bit about the theme of this EP and the title behind it all.
Yeah.
I was like, Chris can do that one.
Yeah.
EP's called Rituals. It was the title single off of the EP, which is out now. There's a video up there for it, which is amazing. We were so stoked with how the video came out. It's been an awesome process, though, with this EP. Rather than dropping everything all at once, we've kind of spread it out a little bit. We've got 2 more songs that are on the EP that aren't out still, so we're really looking forward to getting those out, and I'm really stoked on being able to play, one of those songs live. The process has been awesome. Theme-wise, it's I write a lot about my mental health struggles, and yeah, that's really the crux of what I write about, whether it be writing directly about nightmares I have, or just my daily life struggles, or struggles within my family and friends and stuff, and how that affects me, and how that affects the people around me. So, all really good stuff. Sometimes it sounds like it's a bit scary and negative. Sometimes I'll write from, not from my perspective, but someone else's perspective in that situation. But no, it's good fun. It's good fun, and I'm pretty open and honest about that sort of stuff. I think getting that mental health message out there to people is an important thing. And so I'm not afraid to, write about that and share about it.
I think it's hella important. I'm also one to talk about my mental health struggles and battles, and I notice a lot more people in the metal community are doing that, because it's good for other people to see that it's okay to fucking not be okay. We're all fucking struggling with anxiety. You recently did play at the I'm Not a Burden Fest, which is super fucking cool. It is a festival that is here in South Australia. I enjoy bookings. Michael does a great job over there as well, highlighting mental health as well and giving a voice to people as well. What was that show like?
Amazing. We had such a good time. Amazing day. Aside from the heat, it was a very, very hot day. But no, that was just an amazing show. We got a great reception from the crowd. People coming down and singing along. All the ninjas doing their thing in the pit as they do. It was just a really good time. It was also great just to see so many friends and people I consider family, whether they be from bands from interstate, friends that had travelled to come to the show. It was just an awesome day.
Yeah, well, how good is the festivals like that with what Michael's doing with Iron Jaw bookings? You got Realm of Thorns are doing stuff. You guys, you got Tim 7HP putting on shows down Adelaide, and then of course the Froth and Fury Fest, and coming along to these shows in South Australia and seeing these festivals that are highlighting the talent and bringing international talent as well. And you did mention, like, it's for me, I'm such an isolated person at home. When I go to these shows, I catch up with guys like yourself and all these different people from different bands at the scene, all along supporting it as well in the mosh pit and getting behind it as well.
No, it's
good.
Awesome.
It's good to just actually catch up with a whole heap of people we wouldn't normally do, because we're like so far down south that we don't get a chance to see these type of people on a weekly basis. So it is good to actually be able to have a chat to everybody when we do. So that brings the whole scene together as well, especially things like Burden. Not so much the international acts, but the smaller acts from around Australia as well. So we get to meet a whole bunch of different people then as well. Networking is great for that sort of stuff as well. We just chatting away to random bands from other states.
Yeah,
Bands we wouldn't normally get to see, like we wouldn't normally get to be on a bill with. It just opens up a whole lot of other stuff as well.
I got to fanboy a few times backstage. It was awesome.
yeah. Which one was that for? I'm not a burden.
I love Stabitha and the Knifey Wifey.
Oh,
So getting to like meet those guys and just have a chat, and their drummer just is my spirit animal. She is intense and I love it. So meeting those guys was amazing. Not so much fanboying, but the Deadweight 80 guys as well from Melbourne. Really, really good guys, and made lifelong friendships with some of those guys now. Stabitha for me. I was in the front row the whole set. I was stoked I got to meet them.
how good is Stabitha though? I went. I've seen him a couple of times, and I snapped. I can't remember what show that was with. It might have been with Municipal Waste or
Yep.
something like that. I snapped one of their gigs and was just like, dude, so bloody good. We have an amazing scene here in like South Australia. Not only bands like Stabitha, you've got Storm the Crown, you've got Those Left Behind, you've got so many fucking amazing
Yeah.
bands like holding it down just here in the South
Yeah.
Australian scene. It's
Blow Me Away. You got I Choose Violence are another amazing one.
Yep.
There's so many bands. I could
And
keep
the old school dudes coming back too, like Forge.
Yep. Yeah, and it's really good to see people like Michael and I enjoy bookings holding these festivals still, you know what I mean? Because I know Northie's onwards and upwards with Froth and Fury, but he was always doing that heavy SA. So it's great to see someone else kind of coming in and filling that void to be able to keep supporting these good festivals in South Australia and having bands like yourself on there.
No, it's a good time, and we just love it. Froth and Fury would be amazing to get as well. I'd love to play that.
No jinx under the.
But no, it would be amazing. There's so many good things happening in Adelaide. It's so good just to see people coming out to shows.
Yeah, can you tell me a little bit about the creative process and the songwriting process for this latest EP, guys?
Yeah. We've got, I don't know if it's a really interesting kind of process. Alex and Betty, guitarists, will put together songs, whether it be by themselves, individually, or as a team. They bring it to the band. Usually Adam, our drummer, will then jump on. He goes through it, does his thing. Same with Waffles, will do his thing with the bass. And then once we've got a bit of a, not a finished product, but a bit more of a polished, everyone's had their sort of input into it, then I'll usually get the song and start working on lyrics and kind of see where that takes me with it. Every time it's a different process for me with the lyrics, whether it be, hitting play on the song and just kind of going for it while I hit record and see what happens, whether it be in the practice space jamming with the guys, whether it be, sometimes just inspiration hits and I start writing. So it's always different. So always pulling from different types of places and emotions, and so that the process was very much like that. Each song was very different lyrically written. I think one of the advantages we all have, we've all got like a mini studio at home. So we can record stuff and then email it through to everybody. Everyone can then have a play with it and do their thing. And then we can get together at practice and, play it for the first time after having all practiced it and, kind of feeling a bit more confident than just like, hey, here's this new song. Let's kind of see what happens. We once a fortnight, we try and get together and practice. We don't really practice a huge amount. But when we do, that's that focus with, when we're in that songwriting mode, it's, pushing and if something's not right, stopping and reworking it. And, I kind of think about songs like a crying baby.
Yeah.
You just want to keep feeding them and keep looking after them until they stop crying at you. And then the recording process was fantastic as well. We were with Andy at Against the Grain again. We love working with him. We love the studio there. It's fantastic. He always gives us a great sound.
Andy Kite.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's a staple of the Adelaide scene and has been for a very long time. He really knows what he's doing. So that's been great. I think we might look at venturing somewhere different, just to, not to see what's out there, but just for a different experience next time.
Yep.
Not that we don't love Against the Grain, because I think we'll probably end up going back there again in the future for something. But yeah, just a really good, fun process.
They do some amazing work at Against the Grain. As soon as I started kind of getting, interestingly, I started doing all of this nearly 10 years ago was after going to a heavy SA fest. And I was like, I got asked by Crank, the webzine, which I'm running now. They're like, hey, can you write a guest review for the show? And I'm like, I wrote a guest review because I was just blown away by what we had here, because I'm being lived in the country as well for so long. You kind of forget, you get used to playing the same old handful of bands and you don't get out as much. And I don't blame some people for not being able to. But when I first got out and I was able to see kind of what was happening here in our own fucking backyard and the quality of talent in the bands, I'm like, dude, I just got to keep supporting what we got here in Australia. Hence the name came along as well. So, and then you can't do anything in the SA scene and not hear of what Against the Grain does, but there's so many other great places like Andy and what they're doing here, like in South Australia, but also over in Melbourne there as well. And you've got some fucking great recording studios here in Australia too to work with. So we are kind of sport for choice as well as bands.
Very, very lucky here, especially in South Australia. And even going back, like when I started playing in bands 20 years ago, coming up with I Killed the Prom Queen and Day Contempt and, seeing playing with Parkway on their very first Adelaide show, things like that.
When Bianca was working at the club one night, she was the chef, so she wasn't there, but I took over the stereo system as the DJs were leaving with I Killed the Prom Queen. So we'd had fucking dance music all night. And my DM's like, Jai, take over the music. So I fucking chucked in the I Killed the Prom Queen. You should have seen how quick these guys were packing up, fucking shaking their heads to get the fuck out. Like, shit, I just had to put up with your shit for 6 hours. Can't lie, you can put up with I Killed the Prom Queen for 10 minutes.
I know, feeling very well in the kitchen, yeah.
So Shane, tell me a little bit about your bits for this, man. Do you and Ads do you work together a bit for laying down the groundwork between each other? How does that work for you guys, being the backbone and the heartbeat of the tracks and the band?
To be honest, me and Ads always feed off each other live as well. But look, I'm still in the mindset of I've only been doing this for a very short amount of time compared to the rest of the boys. So I literally just go with the flow. I'm still completely lost with half of it. So I just have fun. Essentially, that's it.
I think the one thing that about is that before this band started, the three of us, Waffles, myself, and Ads, had been playing music together in a different band for a long time, for about 5 years. Never played any shows, but we got together once a fortnight religiously for about 4 years and played, for 5 or 6 hours. At first we did anyway.
And until UFC took over.
Yeah, I mean, those guys have been playing together for a very long time now, and they really just lock in together so well.
We feed off each other. It's good. Like Adam's just he's a powerhouse. There's nothing else I can say about the man. He's just he's a fucking amazing drummer. And he is the backbone. Like he's the sound he gets out is ridiculous.
He beats the shit out of the drums as well.
He's a fucking caveman, that man.
Yeah, and there's stuff that's coming off the new EP, the tracks that has been released, Max Power, Ritual Bones, and the latest one, Run. They're just absolutely unreal, and you can just hear all you guys putting it all out there. But you can also hear kind of a clear evolution in you guys. How do you feel like, and how would you explain to people how you feel about how your sound has evolved since that first release as well?
Yeah, I think initially, so when we very first started, it was Betty, myself, Adam, and Waffles. And we got together and wrote a bunch of songs in one day. I sat down with Betty, the guitarist, and kind of went through the songs he'd already put together and some riffs he had, and we put a whole bunch of stuff together. and then started looking for another guitarist. And Alex came along, who was just the perfect fit. Alex's influence is definitely creeping in a lot more now. So a lot more of almost a death metal kind of vibe coming through with some of it. A lot more like those dissonant chords and, odd timings and stuff getting thrown in there. Our brand new song that I haven't even started working on lyrics yet because it is just mental.
Hectic.
Yeah.
I'm having a good old time with this one.
Yeah, Adam spent weeks and weeks just getting his parts right because it was not all over the place, but his timings are just, awesome. So yeah, definitely more of like a death metal kind of influence coming in, which definitely suits my vocals. And not to say that metalcore influence still isn't there, because it is. That's what we all came up on, that early 2000 sort of era metalcore. But yeah, definitely a death metal kind of vibe creeping in with everything now, and I'm not upset about that at all.
No, it's good to fucking hear, and it's good for you guys. It's great for me and also listeners. I know some people like bands doing the same thing, but I like to hear a band really fucking pushing himself, evolving and growing, and you've got so much room to fucking do that. Like from that first EP, it was a ripping debut EP, but you can go anywhere with it as well. Still, you're not kind of tied into, okay, now we're a metalcore band, everything we do has to be metalcore, and that could kind of get boring and stagnant as a songwriter and as a creative person.
Well, even things like Bones is a completely different vibe to the other tracks on that have already been released.
Oh, yeah,
and you'll see it with the next two that come out, the last two from the EP. They are again a different vibe. They're not. We just don't want to be pigeonholed, I suppose. Like, you can't just say we're one genre, or we can. That's why we like playing with different types of bands as well, because we're not that just one genre. We're not deathcore, we're not metalcore, we're not anything else like that. We're not hardcore. We're just shit rolled in together, which makes it a bit more versatile for us.
Yeah, the new wave of Australian heavy metal.
That's the one. Jim will be proud of that one. And like, as you mentioned, being able to get in and fit in on all these different bills as well. You guys have not afraid to play any shows. You've been playing all over the bloody places as well, kind of. And I know that's so hard to do from a regional area, but to get down to Adelaide and play all these shows, it does kind of, people don't realise how much that pays off, not financially, but also not financially necessarily, but having like 10 people in the crowd, or 5 people, or even 2 people in the crowd go, fuck, come up to the merch stand and go, man, it blew me away, and go back. And you know what it's like, guys. You go back, you tell fucking 10 of your mates, or anyone getting into your car for the next 2 weeks has to hear Storm the Crown and things like that. So it does, it's very, very important, but it also must be hard at times for you guys. What are some of the challenges being that you're over there in Victor Harbour and kind of traveling for all these different shows?
Well, I don't drive either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no license. I'm 45. I've never driven a car.
We won't speak about having to transport Mr. Killer about the place. It's an interesting time sometimes.
Yeah. And yeah, I get very car sick. And so unfortunately Shane often has to sit in the back seat of his own car, which is fun.
Yeah. And then when the other half drives, because I like to have a few beers before we play, because I'm an idiot. She drives us in, and then Chris gets to sit in the front, and you haven't seen anything until you've seen a hairy tattooed man bopping out to Beyonce.
Crazy.
And I mean, when I say bopping out, I mean going absolutely ham in the front seat at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Party. Gotta have a good time.
Damn straight. And I've said this before to people who think we're nothing but big, scary, angry metal dudes. I'm like, look, mate, we will rock out to fucking Beyonce, Taylor. We don't give a fuck. That's real metal there, mate.
It's funny, at Burden, I found myself standing at the back of the crowd, still with all my the death metal makeup on, dancing to breakdowns like it was pop music, without a care in the world.
Damn straight.
I had a good time. It was good fun.
Yeah. Best place for support, because that is bloody important since we're talking about, the challenges that you guys face. And I know you aren't going to mention it, but logistics wise, it is hard to kind of make those travel. All the time it's coming out of your fucking pocket just to go to these shows, and you're
Yeah.
you're spending money, and it's not about that at the end of the day. It's about the message reaching fans, but it also does kind of help to have that kind of support behind you. Best place we can get along and grab this EP when it drops.
It will be available everywhere.
Yep. Yeah, I know streaming. Have you got a website? Where's the best place for anyone, like probably the support Storm the Crown Ritual EP launch show February 15th at the Cranker would be a good place to go to, wouldn't it?
That would be a good place to go to, definitely. Like, we've got two Victorian bands coming across, so Furious George, Pendle Hill, both really bloody great bands. I'm not sure if you saw the promo of Jake from Furious George doing a little snippet of Run. It is, let's just say it's fucking brutal.
Yes.
Yeah, it's fucking good.
Uh,
We got Suspended Animation, who's up from your way, I think. They're Mildura, so closer to you anyway.
Yep.
Jai.
Yeah.
And then the new guys, Angrath, coming in, who are, I think, flat out like death metal sort of style. So it's a bit of a eclectic show, this one, but it is all metal, but it's just
Yeah.
different genres of metal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and your best way to
big
find
cool
us,
one.
best way to find us with that sort of stuff is through our socials.
Yep.
We're on all the platforms. There's links in our bio that'll take you to everything else. So if you find one of our socials at Storm the Crown, you'll be able to find everything else through our link in our bio. So including tickets, merch, all that good stuff is all in there as well.
Yeah, we got merch. We've teamed up with Mosh Merch as well, so you can buy some stuff overseas now as well. So they've got drop shipping, I think, all through Europe and America now. So we know the postage from here is horrible if you're buying overseas. So we just put a couple of designs up through them. And yeah,
Is
you
that
can
them?
have a look. There's only 4 on there, but that's
There you
actually,
go.
that's the one. Well, 5 on there, sorry. Or 4, 2 hoodies and 2 tops. So you can literally click on it from our Spotify and go grab some merch if you're overseas. Or we've got our own merch store, which I've sort of neglected lately. I've got to go play with it. But yeah, there's a few designs there. There's some more stuff coming as well in the way of designs. Like
That's
Adam.
stormtheCrown.theprintbar.com.
That's the one, the dropship one. So essentially anything that goes there, it just gets sent out you from that shop. We've got some more designs in the way. Like Adam dropped another little one last night. We're going to have a look at it and see if we can figure out someone who can print it for us. Because there's always the hassle of trying to find someone that can actually do the size print we want as well. So we yeah. So that's where I'm sitting in the background doing all this stuff. It's always fun.
Yeah, it's pretty handy to have a couple of pretty talented artists to be able to help out do the merch with you guys as well. I've got to mention Chris Killer, coloring in book, man. That's cool as fucking hell. Tell us about that, dude.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I make colouring in books and sell them on Amazon. So all sorts of themes from like zombies to video games, all sorts of stuff. It's just something so again, mental health issues. I needed something to help distract me and keep me focused on something. ADHD as well, so you get hyper obsessed by things. And I just started making them and went through the process of how to do it. And yeah, just started uploading them. And before I knew it, I've got 14 of them up there now. I've also just put up a encyclopedia on mythical creatures called Cryptids and Creatures, which is like a 200-page full color book. Volume 1. I'm working on volume 2 at the moment. It's just something that I really enjoyed doing. I then have bought every copy of my own book and I color them in myself as well.
Dude, nothing like it. I've always battled with like mental health as well. Diagnosed with PTSD, major depression, major anxiety. So for me, it was always sitting down with my kids, coloring in was like, I was always in my best spot when I'd be sitting with my girls and I'd be colouring in princesses or unicorns and shit
Oh,
like that. So when I seen your colouring in books, I'm like, where the fuck were they back then? All these cool colouring in
Oh,
books.
look, it's good fun. It's good fun. So yeah, lots of zombies, monsters, all that fun stuff, as well as some stuff like there's a Japanese flower book. There's a geisha colouring in book as well. Just trying to appeal to a broader market, and I have fun with it though. I really enjoy making them and putting them together.
Yeah, Amazon. Where's the best place people can go and grab that, man?
So you can find them through my socials. So anything with my @Killer will have a link, and that'll take you to the Amazon shop. Or if you just look up Killer Color, should be able to find it on there as well.
Yeah, cool. Awesome, guys. Thank you so very much. Do you have any last words, shout outs, thank yous, or anything else you'd like to add in there?
I thought I'd thank you, mate. Like, you're doing so much for the community. Everything with Crank is amazing. We love what you're doing. Keep smashing it out, mate. It's great to see.
Always good to see you coming down with shows to Adelaide too, mate. It's not a small journey from where you are.
Yeah, always a pleasure to get along and support the scene. Everybody can get out and bloody support Storm the Crown. Go grab their forthcoming EP, Ritual. Go chuck it in the stereos. Crank it up bloody loud.
Out on the 10.
That's
7
it.
days. I haven't even put that on the website yet. So
the neighbours are going to want to hear it.
7 days.
7 days, people. Fuck yeah. Get it, crank it, turn it up loud, and go down if you're in Adelaide, or if you're in Australia at all, get to the Cranker. They are there February 15th with Furious George, Pendle Hill, Suspended Animation, and Angrath. Till then, keep calm, look after each other, people. Peace out.
Oi, you're tuned in to Jai That Aussie Metal Guy, so make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of his sick content. And remember, stay brutal, you legend.